You're watching Major League Baseball's virtual network. I'm Nicholas Callis. These are your game recaps, standing updates, and league leaders from Saturday, July the 11th, 2020. The Orioles and Red Sox played each other in an AL East matchup, and these two scorelines are almost identical. Each team had 8 hits, and each team committed 1 error in this game. The Orioles got all 5 of their runs at the top of the 3rd inning. The Red Sox scored 2 in the bottom of the 6th, and were making a comeback in the bottom of the 9th. They scored 2 runs in the bottom of the 9th as well, but they fell short a run. 5-4, the final score of this game. John Means got the win, Marcus Walden got the loss, and Michael Givens now has 24 saves this season. The Rangers and Yankees played each other. This is another close game. 4-3 was the final score, and the Yankees came out on top. Scorelines were almost even. Each team had 10 hits, and each team committed 1 error. The Yankees had tied the game at 3 in the bottom of the 8th inning, which made the game go into an extra inning, but then the Yankees walked it off in the bottom of the 10th inning, and they got the win. Tommy Kahnle got the win, his 7th of the year, and Luis Garcia got the loss. Interleague play between the Cardinals and the Rays saw the Cardinals win by a 7-2 final score. The Cardinals out-hit the Rays 12-5, and despite the Cardinals committing 3 errors in this game as a team, they still won by as many as 5 runs. Jack Flaherty got the win, and Yanni Chirinos got the loss. The Blue Jays and Twins played each other. 3-2 was the final score of this game, and it was a well-pitched ball game as well. The first team to score was the Twins in the bottom of the 8th inning. They got 2 runs. Then the Blue Jays responded almost immediately in the top of the 9th inning with 2 runs of their own. That tied the game, sent this one to the 10th, where the Twins eventually walked it off. Tyler Duffy earned the win out of the bullpen, and Wilmer Font got the loss. AL Central Baseball between the Royals and the Indians was a close game. Each team had 5 hits in this one, and even though the Indians committed an error, they still found a way to win this game. The Royals scored first. They scored 2 in the top of the 6th inning. Then the Indians got on the board in the bottom of the 7th with a run. They put up 2 in the bottom of the 8th to take the 3-2 lead, and then Brad Hand locked down the save in the top of the 9th inning, his 33rd of the year. Oliver Perez got the win, and Trevor Rosenthal got the loss. Interleague play between the Diamondbacks and the White Sox saw runs come at a premium. The White Sox scored their first run in the bottom of the 1st inning, and that was the only offense from either side in this game. The Diamondbacks got 7 hits but failed to score a run. Meanwhile, the White Sox got 1 run on 4 hits, and that 1 run was enough for them to win the game. Dallas Keuchel got the win, and Merrill Kelly got the loss. A battle of Los Angeles. The Dodgers beat the Angels by a 4-0 final score. The Dodgers got 1 in the 2nd, 1 in the 6th, and 2 in the 9th inning, and the Angels were blanked throughout this entire game. Walker Buehler adds to his Major League leading win total. He's at 13 wins now, and Shohei Ohtani now 5-9 after getting the losing decision. AL West baseball between the Athletics and the Mariners. The Athletics won 6-0 the final score. This was a battle of the first-place team in the AL West, and the Athletics playing the last-place team in the Mariners. Sean Manaea got the win, and Yusei Kikuchi got the loss. The Tigers beat the Astros 12-6 is the final score of this game, and this was an offensive palooza kind of game, and both teams really hit well. The Tigers got 12 runs on 16 hits. The Astros got 6 runs on 13 hits. And you see there, the Tigers brought the offense to life later on in the game, though they put up a couple 2 spots early on. The Astros got 3 early on, and they didn't score again until the 7th inning, when they got 2 runs, and then they scored a run in the bottom of the 9th inning, but they still fell short 6 runs. Matthew Boyd got the win, Josh James got the loss, and David McKay earned his first save of the season. The Phillies and Nationals played each other in an NL East matchup, and this game took 13 innings to complete. And I can't really give you a good summary in this results and standings update, but we do have highlights of the game, and the full game's archived on our homepage, so you can check that out if you want to know more. But the Nationals won 4-3 after 13 innings. Will Harris got the win, and Adam Morgan got the loss. The Mets and Marlins played in an NL East matchup. This was also a one-run game, but this one didn't go into extra innings. The Marlins scored in the 1st inning, then the Mets took the lead with a 2-run top of the 4th, and then the Marlins took the lead back with a 2-run bottom of the 6th, and that's pretty much it for offense in this one and run scoring. The Marlins won 3-2. Starling Sharp got the win, Marcus Stroman got the loss, just his 3rd of the year, and Brandon Kintzler now at 26 saves with the Marlins this season. Another close game. The Cubs and Braves played each other and the Cubs came out on top of this game. 4-3 was the final score. The Braves scored at bookends of this game. They got a run in the bottom of the first inning. Then they got two in the bottom of the ninth inning. However, the Cubs scored both on the bookends and in the middle of this game, so they ended up winning despite only scoring no more than one run in each inning that they did score. Jarrell Cotton got the win. He's undefeated on the mound this year, 8-0. Mike Soroka, 8-6 now in the year, and Craig Kimbrell now has 32 saves. The Pirates and Reds played each other, NL Central Baseball, and the Reds slaughtered the Pirates. 14-2 was the final score of this one. The Pirates were forced to jump their own ship with this kind of lopsided score. Anthony DeSclafani got the win, and Robbie Erlin got the loss. The Rockies and Brewers played each other. 7-4 is the final score of this game. The Brewers came out on top, though the Rockies out-hit the Brewers 14-8. The Brewers won by a 7-4 final score. Corbin Burns got the win, his 6th of the year. Jeff Hoffman now 2-7 after getting the loss. And Corey Knebel has 9 saves this season now. And an NL West matchup was played. The Padres beat the Giants by a 5-4 final score, though the Giants out-hit the Padres 10-9. The Padres put up 3 runs in the top of the 6th inning to take the lead after the game was tied in the 4th. Then each team put up a run in the 7th. And the Giants were making a comeback in the bottom of the 9th inning, but they fell short by a run. Drew Pomeranz got the win. Derek Rodriguez got the loss. And Kirby Yates has made it to 30 saves now this season with the Padres. Let's take a look at standings now, starting in the American League East. The New York Yankees still at the top of the 56-38 record. They beat the Rangers today. The Blue Jays lost to the Twins for the second time in a row. They're 54-42, and they lost a game now on the Yankees. Since the Yankees won and they lost, they're now 3 games back. The Red Sox lost today, pushing their winning percentage under 500 again. They're 47-48, 9.5 games back. The Rays have lost their last 4 games. They're 45-51, 12 games back. And the Orioles are 39-57, 18 games back, and they won today. In the American League Central, the Minnesota Twins won today against the Blue Jays. They're 68-29 now, 2 wins away from 70, and they're still at the top of this division. The White Sox 55-40, 12 games back. The Indians 53-43, they're 14.5 games back. The Tigers 40-56. They got their 40th win after winning today. They're still 27.5 games back in first place, though. And the Royals continuing to struggle. They've lost 8 of their last 10 games. They're 32-64, and they're 35.5 games back in first place. And in the American League West, the Oakland Athletics 1 win away from 60 after winning today. They beat the Mariners. They're still at the top of the West. The Astros still in second place with a 55-39 record. They're 3 games back. The Angels are 45-51. They're 14 games back. The Rangers 40-56. They're 19 games back. And the Mariners lost to the A's today. They're 35-62 now, 24.5 games back. The only team in this division to win today was the Athletics. And here are the wildcard standings in the American League. The Astros have the top spot. They're 55-39. They have a half-game lead over the White Sox, who have the second wildcard spot. They're 55-40. And since the White Sox won today and the Blue Jays did not, the Blue Jays move a game back now of that second wildcard spot. They're now 1.5 games back. 54-42 is their record. The Indians have gotten closer after winning today. They're 53-43. They're 2.5 games back of the wildcard spot and 1 game back of where the Blue Jays are stationed right now. And every other team in the American League has a winning percentage under 500 and is at least 8 games back of a wildcard spot. In the National League East, the Washington Nationals lead. They're 54-42. They won a 13-inning affair against the Phillies today, which keeps them in first place. And that was important because the Marlins won today, too, against the Mets. But the Marlins stay where they are right now. They're 52-43, still a game and a half back of the Nationals for first place. The Braves lost today, so they move a game back of the Nationals for first. They're 51-45, 3 games back. The Phillies are 43-52. They're 10.5 games back after losing to the Nationals today. And the Mets lost to the Marlins. They've now lost 6 games in a row. They're 42-53, 11.5 games back of first place. In the National League Central, the St. Louis Cardinals still have the lead. They're 56-40. They've also won their last 3 games, and they've won 7 of their last 10. The Cubs are 48-47. They're 7.5 games back above 500 again. The Brewers won today, which has put them at a 500 winning percentage. They're 8 games back of the Cardinals for first place. The Reds are 40-55, 15.5 games back. And the Pirates are 35-60, still in last place, 20.5 games back of first. In the National League West, the Los Angeles Dodgers still at the top with a 65-31 record. They still have the second best record in all of Major League Baseball. The Diamondbacks are 51-44. They're 13.5 games back. The Padres 49-47. They won today, putting them a game out of their 50th win, or a win out of their 50th win, I should say. They're 16 games back of the Dodgers for first. The Rockies are 40-55. They're 24.5 games back. And the Giants are 36-58, 28 games back of first place. And here are the wild card standings. The Marlins have the top spot with a 52-43 record. The Diamondbacks 51-44, game back of the Marlins' first place spot. And you have the Braves, who have moved to within a half game of that second wild card spot. They're 51-45. Padres are 49-47, 2.5 games back. The Cubs still close. They're 48-47, 3 games back. The Brewers also getting closer. They're 47-47, 3.5 games back. Every other team in the National League has a winning percentage under 500 and is at least 8 games back of that second wildcard spot. And let's take a look at league leaders now, starting with batting average leaders in the American League. Miguel Cabrera still has the best batting average with a .357. Miguel Andujar second best with a .335. And JD Martinez third best with a .327. In the National League, Paul Goldschmidt has the highest average at a .355. Christian Yelich a point behind him with a .354. And Jonathan Villar has fallen to third best with a .349. Hits leaders in the American League, Miguel Cabrera has the most with 133. Miguel Andujar second best with 129. DJ LeMahieu and JD Martinez tied for third best with 124. In the National League, Jonathan Villar has the most with 140. Paul Goldschmidt the next best with 122. And Nolan Arenado third best with 118. At bat leaders in the American League, Marcus Semien has the most with 389. In the National League, Jonathan Villar has the most with 401. Doubles leaders in the American League, Anthony Rendon still at the top. He has 35. Jose Abreu second best with 30. And Whit Merrifield third best with 28. In the National League, Jonathan Villar has 41 doubles. Christian Yelich second best with 33. And Trey Turner rounds out the top 3 with 28. Triples leaders in the American League, Adalberto Mondesi has the most with 7. Jose Altuve second best with 6. Stephen Piscotty, Adam Eaton, Byron Buxton, and Whit Merrifield all tied for third best with 5. In the National League, Jonathan Villar still leads with 12 triples. Victor Robles second best with 7. Chris Bryant, Hunter Pence, Tommy Edman, Nolan Arenado, and Cody Bellinger all tied for third best with 5. Home run leaders in the American League, Justin Upton still at the top. He has 33 home runs. Lourdes Gurriel Jr. and Chris Davis tied for second best with 28. In the National League, Ronald Acuna Jr. has 35. Paul Goldschmidt 2 behind him with 33. Freddie Freeman, Jock Peterson, and Pete Alonso tied for third best with 26. RBI leaders in the American League, Lourdes Gurriel Jr. has the most with 86. Chris Davis the next best with 79. And Nelson Cruz third best with 76. In the National League, Paul Goldschmidt has the most with 92. Freddie Freeman the next best with 74. Christian Yelich and Ronald Acuna Jr. tied for third best with 72. Runs scored leaders in the American League, JD Martinez has scored the most with 73. In the National League, Ronald Acuna Jr. has scored the most with 81. Stolen base leaders in the American League, Malik Smith and Adalberto Mondesi at the top with 22. D. Gordon is third best with 19. In the National League, Starling Marte leads with 32. Trey Turner second best with 30. And Jonathan Villar third best with 25. Walks leaders in the American League, Alex Bregman has 60. In the National League, the leader is Mookie Betts with 67. On base percentage leaders in the American League, Miguel Cabrera has the highest at a .423. Alex Bregman second most with a .419 on base percentage, and Josh Donaldson third best with a .409. In the National League, Christian Yelich has the highest at a .457. Paul Goldschmidt second best with a .454, and Ronald Acuna Jr. third best with a .420. Slugging percentage leaders in the American League, Josh Donaldson has the highest at a .638. Max Kepler 4 points behind him with a .634. And Justin Upton, third best, 20 points behind Kepler with a .614. In the National League, Ronald Acuna Jr. has the highest at a .725. Paul Goldschmidt second best with a .721. And Christian Yelich third best with a .692. On base percentage plus slugging percentage leaders in the American League, and there are only 3 players with a 1,000 OPS in this league. Josh Donaldson with a 1.047, Chris Davis with a 1.020, and Max Kepler with a 1.015. In the National League, Paul Goldschmidt leads with a 1.175, Christian Yelich second best with a 1.149, and Ronald Acuna Jr. third best with a 1.144. Moving on to pitcher leaderboards, starting with wins leaders in the American League, Kenta Maeda and Hyunjin Ryu at the top. They each have 11 wins. Jake Odorizzi, Jose Urquidy, and Zach Greinke all tied for third best with 10. In the National League, Walker Buehler got a win today against the Angels. He's up to 13 now on the season. That's the Major League best. Steven Strasburg, second best in the NL with 11. David Price and Madison Bumgarner, third best with 10. Losses leaders in the American League. Chris Bassett and Kenta Maeda have yet to lose a game this season among pitchers that qualify. They're at the top of this leaderboard. In the National League, Carlos Martinez has lost the least amount of games with 1. Saves leaders in the American League. Brad Hand has the most with 33. Liam Hendricks the next best with 32. And Roberto Ozuna rounds out the top 3 with 29. In the National League, Giovanni Gallegos has the most with 33. Craig Kimbrell and Kenley Jansen are each tied for second best with 32. ERA leaders in the American League. Kenta Maeda has the lowest at a 2.32. Jake Odorizzi the second lowest with a 2.43. And Aaron Savali the third lowest with a 2.63. In the National League, Walker Buehler has the lowest at a 2.10. Marcus Stroman up to a 2.31 now. And Jacob deGrom at a 2.41. Home runs allowed among American League pitchers. Kenta Maeda and Gio Gonzalez have allowed the least amount with 9. In the National League, Marcus Stroman, Jacob deGrom, and Carlos Martinez have each allowed the least amount. They've all allowed 7 this season so far. Shutout leaders in the American League. Masahiro Tanaka has the most with 4. Garrett Cole second best with 3. And Jake Odorizzi third best with 2. In the National League, Jacob deGrom's thrown 4 complete game shutouts this year. Aaron Nola, Zach Wheeler, Merrill Kelly, and Walker Buehler are all tied for second best with 2. Strikeout leaders in the American League. Garrett Cole has the most at 161. Lucas Giolito second best with 143. And Jake Odorizzi third best with 140. In the National League, Steven Strasburg has 162 strikeouts. He struck out 8 against the Phillies in his start today. Clayton Kershaw the next best with 151. And Walker Buehler third best with 141. Complete games thrown among American League pitchers. Masahiro Tanaka has thrown the most with 4. Garrett Cole the second most with 3. Jake Odorizzi and Aaron Savali tied for third best with 2. In the National League, Jacob deGrom has thrown 4 complete games this year. Aaron Nola and Zach Wheeler, second best with 3 complete games this year. Innings pitched leaders in the American League. Hyunjin Ryu has the most at 136 even. In the National League, Steven Strasburg's thrown the most now, along with Clayton Kershaw. They each have thrown 133 and 2/3 innings. Walks allowed among American League pitchers. Carlos Carrasco's allowed the least amount with 22. In the National League, Brett Anderson's allowed the least amount with 24. Whip leaders in the American League. Jake Odorizzi has the lowest at a 1.04. Hyunjin Ryu the next best with a 1.09. And Masahiro Tanaka third lowest with a 1.10. In the National League, Aaron Nola the lowest at a 1.05. Steven Strasburg the next lowest with a 1.07. And Clayton Kershaw the third lowest with a 1.08. Pitching WAR leaders in the American League. Jake Odorizzi has the highest pitching WAR at a 3.4. Masahiro Tanaka second best with a 3. And Carlos Carrasco third best with a 2.9. In the National League, Jacob deGrom is the highest at a 3.5. Steven Strasburg's at a 3.3. And Walker Buehler is at a 3.2. Batting WAR leaders in the American League. Marcus Semion's at a 5.7. DJ LeMahieu and Yohan Moncada each have a 5.3. They're second and third on this leaderboard. And in the National League, Christian Yelich has the highest. He's reached 7, the first in Major League Baseball to do that this year. Jonathan Villar second best with a 6.2. And Paul Goldschmidt third best with a 6.1. These have been your game recaps, standing updates, and league leaders from Saturday, July the 11th, 2020. I'm Nicholas Callis. You've been watching Major League Baseball's Virtual Network.